You clicked on this video because deep down, you know emotions run your life more than you'd like to admit. One text message can ruin your whole day. One small rejection can destroy your confidence, and one tiny comment can keep replaying in your head for weeks. But here's the truth. While most of the world drowns in emotional chaos, the Japanese have mastered a way of handling emotions that keeps them calm, collected, and deeply respected. Imagine this. While you're stressing, overthinking, or spiraling into frustration, someone across the world has trained themselves to remain composed no matter how loud life gets. And no, it's not about bottling everything up. It's about rewiring how you respond so emotions no longer control your future. Today, we're diving into how you can control your emotions like the Japanese without therapy, and why it could completely change the way you deal with challenges. Let's begin with a story. A few years ago, during one of Japan's most devastating earthquakes, footage circulated across the globe. Buildings had collapsed, trains had stopped, and lives were turned upside down in a matter of minutes. But what stood out wasn't the chaos. It was the response. There were no riots, no screaming matches, no outbursts of panic. Instead, people formed lines for food and water. They waited their turn in silence. Strangers comforted each other with patience and dignity. The world watched in shock. How could people remain so calm in the middle of such destruction? That moment revealed something powerful. The ability to control emotions isn't about what happens to you, but how you decide to meet it. So what's their secret? It starts with a principle called Gaman. In Japanese culture, Gaman means enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. It doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means developing the strength to experience discomfort without letting it shatter your peace. When life throws unfairness, insults, or hardship your way, instead of reacting instantly, Gaman teaches you to pause, breathe, and hold steady. Think about how different your life could be if you applied this. Someone criticizes you. Do you fire back immediately, or do you calmly absorb it, filter it, and decide whether it deserves your energy? That pause, that moment of restraint, often changes everything. Scientists even back this up. A study from Stanford University found that people who practice emotional regulation through mindfulness and delayed reaction report greater resilience, lower stress, and better decision-making. Gaman isn't just cultural, it's psychological science in action. But here's the catch. Self-control isn't automatic. It's trained. That's where another Japanese philosophy comes in, Shikata ga nai, which means it cannot be helped. Instead of wasting energy fighting things outside your control, this mindset redirects you to what you can control, your response, your attitude, your next move. Think about how many hours we waste replaying a breakup, a rejection, or a lost opportunity. Shikata ga nai frees you from that cycle. It whispers, yes, this happened. But your power is in what you do next. Let's connect this to someone you know. Naomi Osaka, one of Japan's most famous athletes, openly spoke about handling pressure on the tennis court. She admitted that emotions, frustration, anger, fear, could ruin her performance if she let them spiral. Instead, she practiced grounding techniques, focusing on what she could control in the moment. Her serve, her breathing, her mindset. That's Shikata ga nai in action, releasing what's uncontrollable, mastering what's in your hands. Now here's the part most people miss. The Japanese don't view emotional control as shutting down feelings. Instead, they see it as harmony, balancing emotion and reason. That's where Wabi-sabi enters the picture. This concept is about embracing imperfection. Emotions are messy, unpredictable, and sometimes overwhelming. Instead of trying to be perfect, Wabi-sabi teaches acceptance. Your anger doesn't make you weak. Your sadness doesn't make you broken. These emotions simply remind you, you're human. By accepting them without judgment, you stop fighting yourself and start living with balance. But how do you actually apply this in everyday life? Let me give you a simple practice. The next time you feel anger rising, don't react instantly. Count to 10. Literally, 10 seconds. During those seconds, take one deep breath, recall Shikata ga nai, and remind yourself, I can't control what was said, but I can control my reply. That micropause is how calm begins. Over time, these small pauses train your brain to default to control, not chaos. And here's the curiosity. What happens when you combine Gaman, Shikata and Wabi-sabi in your daily life? You begin to feel untouchable, not because bad things stop happening, but because your reaction no longer feeds the fire. While others are drowning in drama, you're moving forward with clarity. Now, there's another powerful Japanese lesson. The concept is mono no awarhei, which means the bittersweet awareness that everything is temporary. Anger? Temporary. Stress? Temporary. Even heartbreak? Temporary. The Japanese remind themselves that no emotion lasts forever. By remembering that your storm has an end, you find the strength to endure without losing yourself. Think about how this could reshape your relationships, your work, even your mental state. The next time emotions overwhelm you, instead of saying, "This is too much," you'll remember, "This too will pass." That shift changes despair into patience. And here's the climax of it all. Emotional control isn't about becoming cold or robotic. It's about freedom. Freedom from letting your boss's mood dictate your day. Freedom from letting an argument destroy your week. Freedom from letting rejection define your self-worth. The Japanese don't escape emotions. They ride them with grace, knowing the wave will always come down. So the question is, what if you started living like that? What if you practiced patience when your first instinct was rage? What if you accepted imperfection instead of chasing control? What if you remembered that every storm is temporary? The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be steady, to be grounded, to be someone who can face the chaos without losing yourself. And that's why this lesson from Japan isn't just cultural, it's universal. Because no matter where you live, what you face, or how heavy your emotions feel, you always have the power to pause, to breathe, and to choose differently. Subscribe to become the person you're meant to be.